Hello YouTube, this is Omagent here with the second fight of the day. The Marine-Schustzen are back against the Swedish forces this time for Stockholm, so let's start this. Okay, so now if you remember from the previous episode, the plan was to strike towards Uppsala and take it out. And I'm not sure about that anymore, because the thing is, this isn't the only force I have that was concentrating on Stockholm. There was another task force that's coming south from the initial deployment, and it would attack via Uppsala, which means that maybe if I ignore that, because as soon as this battle group turns up, I think I auto-capture Uppsala, which would mean that it makes more sense for me to attack Vimmerby. While I have this, I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to be focusing more on Vimmerby for this fight. However, I don't want to attack Vimmerby too much, because if I knock it out, like as a point, but leave Uppsala, and then they capture Uppsala in the next game, then they won't have any auto defenses and they'll spawn. I think they force spawn them into Fedor, Anna, or Dmitri, or Boris maybe, which would be bad. So the plan is to not actually attack Uppsala, because it's going to fall anyway, inevitably. But we are still going to post a good defense force here. Keep these guys at a distance. We are going to deploy 2 Cub batteries, as well as some Strelas, because they are, as if I remember from playing as NATO in Stockholm, Uppsala's air corridor was a busy one, so I'm going to invest heavily in anti-aircraft defense. In terms of recon, I'm going to have 2 infantry, like so, and we're just going to fill up the surrounding forests and towns with as many infantry as possible. This fight, I think, is going to be more focused towards maintaining what I have and a slow but solid push towards Vimmerby. Ideally, we'll hold Dmitri at the end of this, but overall, I think us keeping the status quo will do for now. So we're going to leave an FOB here to resupply these guys. Recon. I'm actually going to give these guys a recon keep just to help the Conquerors fire. Like I was going to pick off some initial targets. Don't really see much need for assault at the start. I actually think I'll probably do better to spread these guys out, just because numbers are limited. So I'm just going to redeploy them. Just because obviously this is I'm actually going to use them Marine-Schustzen primarily because I've got a lot of them, 25, and also because they're the good anti-tank forces, and when the enemy is crossing the bridge, you sort of need some good anti-tank forces. And I might actually give them 2 logistics trucks just to keep their rockets loaded. That's probably the number one casualty of them in this position. You know, running out of rockets, which means that even though they're capable of taking them out, they do not have the supplies to do so. Let's see, we're actually running low on infantry, which is a bit of a worry. Let's see, Warschustzen, don't want to use them up. And we are running quite low, but we have points left to spare, so maybe a more tank-oriented task force. But then tanks in here, it's probably the last Cub here, as well as a Strela missile, and 2 of these flak units up at the front. And the helicopters not really needed. Could you start using an air force? It might be useful in a defensive role, which is what I'm concentrating on. I think neutralizing Uppsala would probably be useful, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy in a couple of BM-21 artillery units behind the anti-aircraft defences, and if we can get lucky, we will do a bit of shelling into here. I'll get a recon helicopter just to see if I can spot their command vehicle, but shelling up so that even if it's not strictly necessary, because I'll be capturing it in a few days anyway, it would be useful in the fact that, you know, they have fewer reinforcements, and I think there might still be a day's fighting before their forces get here, so I'm just going to keep Uppsala neutral for now. But I'm not going to, if you remember when we were playing NATO, I was pushing very hard to get to Uppsala, and that might have led to more casualties than necessary. It's more about containing Uppsala and neutralising with artillery if possible than a concentrated assault. That's the plan. We're going to have to use Marine-Schustzen, yes, even though they're a very high quality unit, and this kind of general defensive umbrella usually works better with... Oh, we're out of points. Okay, so the plan is simple. Infantry all over the place to contain or maintain the border. We use the points from Orbo and save up for command units to capture Fedor and Boris, rocket artillery, and generally suppress Uppsala to force it to be neutralised for later battles. And if the time permits, a push into Dmitry. Anna doesn't really need to be taken, but Dmitry would give us a good position to attack Vermerby in later times. So let's launch the battle. And there's already a cluster of units, so let's get the BM-21s firing. Cluster of units like that, guess what we need? SBWs, get out of there. You are not going to make a bit of difference. Rockets are firing. Let's watch the carnage unfurl itself. Oh yeah, look at that. That is exactly what our artillery is designed for. Just area of effect suppression. And what do you do? Once these guys are loaded, we're going to unleash a second salvo. We're also panicking them, which is trying to force them into a fight. Marine-Schustzen can come in with their little rockets, their RBK-12s, and just do some nice suppression. Recon helicopter, is it still alive? Yeah, I'm going to hold that back just until we can thin them out a bit. There's a lot of tanks here. I want to keep these guys suppressed. Directly on top of them. Right, they have a command vehicle here, and they're targeting more of these SBWs probably. I'll try and move the Conquerors up into range. I bought them to attack, but I don't want them to actually be in any danger. Especially seeing as they've got that 80 km unit there. I think they're within range of a few units there. It's more sort of like generally picking off some stragglers. These guys did not get into cover. And those are powerful, whatever, I don't know what those are. Well, those Swedish units are powerful. Have you started? Yep, here comes barrage number 2. This is probably going to cause a lot of damage. There's some AGM fire. Looks like it was targeting the Conquerors. And let's bring in a helicopter to fire some rocket balls. Air Force. We've got a key bomber here. Can't imagine their anti-aircraft defenses are up to much after all those shelling. Yep, ACKM units here. We're taking some hits, but hopefully they're... See, these guys are panicked, so their ITOs really shouldn't be up to much. And here's where the supplies came into it, but it looks like the supply trucks were shot to bits, so the plan didn't work out. Never mind, we can get bomb them. 55 points for a bomber, I think, yep. Guessing that these bombs aren't actually going to be up to much, and there's an anti-aircraft unit to the rear. What is that? It's 2 of them. Don't actually know what those are. I'm not as familiar with Swedish units as I probably should be. Hopefully, let's see, this helicopter should get out of the way. Attack's going, we've only got a small advantage on points, but and that bombing run didn't seem to do anything. Oh well. Let's start shelling that artillery. Should really be attacking these guys. I'm not sure why they're not dropping their bomb load. Oh well, let's drop some rounds on the artillery and get out of there. You might get shot down. That's tough artillery. Some other jets down in the air. Let's pull you back. Evac this guy out. Let's get one more. Just one more of these guys. Let's keep bombing these guys. Why are you running like that? Let's finish off this tank. Move this SBW up, might draw fire. Stop. That kind of snap thing was right. Their artillery guns are down. 85 points a pop. That's not bad. Let's see. Let's try and angle these guys into a good position. I want to know what this tank's looking at. Air Force offline. See, I wanted to snap these guys, but if you tell them to stop, they auto default to the nearest urban sector, which can force some of them to effectively teleport into RPG range. So once you're in this sector, don't actually know why they're moving like that. Right, he's shooting at this SBW here. Righty. Oh. My goodness, these RPG2s have some pathetic range, don't they? Okay. Fire, fire, fire. Okay, stunned. One more should finish it off. No problem. What was that? Oh, wow. That's it. Our anti-aircraft units are being targeted. As they're shooting over this stuff that I can't really make out whether it's or not. My goodness, these guys have some awful range. Or, not range. Well, the range is awful, but damage. They did not do anything. And now they're getting torn apart. Marine-Schustzen are behind there. Jets are still being fixed. I could bring in one more jet. That would finish it off, so let's do that.